What's up? What's up? What's up, everybody? Today is the 172nd episode of the In Your Face show. And I'm here with my main man, my brother, man. You know what I'm saying? I'm here with Mr. Paul Mormando.
Thank you, brother.
How's your day going?
So far, so good, man. Thank you. I love this. I love the title of that show, by the way. That is,
What thing?
you know, you don't get better than that. In your face, right?
Don't get better than that. You know it.
Exactly.
So how's your day going?
Pretty busy day. Good day today. Get good chance now to chill and relax with you. Just talk. Shit. Busy day teaching. A lot of teaching today.
I'm feeling it. I feel you. I feel you, man. I feel you. So, man, oh man, how's the martial arts being a martial arts instructor doing?
It's been a joy for close to almost 4 decades now, man. I'm coming close to 4 decades, and there ain't no better job than that. Not so much just passing on the knowledge to the younger generation and watching them grow. I don't think any other career would match that because you don't get to see people grow like that, and it's pretty amazing. So I'm blessed.
Well, that's awesome. That's very awesome. Very awesome. So, Mr. Mormando, what is it like? Translating from martial arts to the acting scene.
Uh, um, you know, there's a lot of similarities, like with the discipline and really being focused and all that. But where I came from, I didn't even do like a school play. Like we would have auditions for school plays, and I would be like the guy off the stage, handing people the props. So I had no theatrical aspirations or nothing, or no even no never no experience whatsoever. And then if it wasn't for the martial arts stuff, and being really good at it and being noticed for the martial arts, it kind of gave me the confidence to try the whole movie thing, and I've been blessed ever since. So I'm really really lucky. But if anybody would like looked at me as a youngster and said this guy's going to be an actor or an entertainer, they would nothing would be further from the truth. I was the most introverted person you could ever meet. Still am.
Well, what made you want to get into being an actor? What was your inspiration?
Well, being a huge fan of Bruce Lee and watching his movies was one thing, but just the idea that also that I could promote the martial arts that I do, that my system of martial arts in the film industry and in the entertainment world was kind of exciting. Figured it'd be a good way to like to spread my knowledge more and spread my particular style of martial art, my particular art form that I do, and it was just I figured it's a good platform, and uh, so just a good way to go about promoting.
Right, 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 right. So how many years have you been, you know, doing martial arts and acting all together?
Wow. Well, the martial arts stuff started when I was about 12, 11, 12, and getting bullied and stuff. So it kind of forced me into either sitting around and be bullied or do something about it. The martial art thing was the thing that came to my mind. So I started the martial arts at 12, and now that I'm 21, I'm still, I'm doing it for a short period of time. No, it's going on 4 decades of the martial arts stuff, 4 decades of training and being involved in it. And then the film stuff is probably about close to 30 years. So between the both of them, they've been a long journey, to say the least.
Right, 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 right. So where do you feel, where do you feel, being a actor? How do you feel? How many movies have you done in the acting industry?
Well, this is going to be the one we're working on right now, which is Just My Vengeance. That's probably going to be my third feature length film that I'm actually starring in. But been a lot of things, over the years. But as far as starring in a movie, this is going to be the Justified Vengeance is going to be my big one. So I'm excited about that one. So, but and if you guys, if anybody wants to watch, Bound by Death's right now going to be on Tubi TV, hopefully next month. So you guys could check my old movie out.
Hmm. That is a good go away. So, my brother. Okay, okay, okay. So, what is the biggest challenges being on set?
Being on set, the biggest challenge is waiting around. Waiting around in between the takes is I'm an action type of guy, so I like to keep moving and keep doing things. And so the setting up and waiting time on film sets is kind of frustrating. But the whole process overall evens out because when you're making really good art, you can't rush it, so you got to take your time. And so, but if I had my way, I'd love to bang out scenes one after the other.
I feel you, man. I feel you. I feel you. I feel you. So, you know, when it comes to being an actor now, what are some of the similarities that help you during your movies, help you to with your lines and stuff? How much of your mixed martial arts training comes into that?
A lot actually, because the discipline to learn the lines over and over again and try to remember them and the body movements and everything that goes into into playing a role. It takes a lot of discipline, and also it takes a lot of resilience, which you need to build up because there's a lot of disappointment also in the film industry and in the music industry and the entertainment industry in general. Being it's very subjective, so there's a lot of disappointments and stuff like that. So the discipline and the resilience both transfer over really well into both filmmaking and into the martial arts. And that not quitting spirit. You could either be on an audition and not get a role, and you have to fight past it, or you could make a film actually and it bombs and no one wants to watch it, and um, having those qualities are really good. It really sets you aside from everybody else, and so I think that I attribute the martial arts to that whole non-quitting spirit stuff because you don't quit till you win.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. So where so what was the most challenging movie you've ever done?
Let's see. Well, Bound by Debt was challenging because we had a pretty big cast for an indie movie. If you know anything about indie films, you want to keep the cast small and the location small. But we had a fight scene in there where we had like close to 100 extras and different people in it, and so that scene was pretty challenging. So it's pretty complex. Indie filmmaking itself is complex because you don't have the budgets that the studios have. So it's really a lot of using your own resources and stuff like that. So that's the most challenging part is the basically doing everything yourself. So
Mm-hmm. Awesome, awesome. So being a martial artist, do you feel peace doing acting
uh,
as
I hear you. Yeah. You know, doing meditation and martial arts and working on your mind helps you really. It does help you to concentrate and focus. So I think that gives me a big advantage when you're playing a character that you're able to get that inner peace and you're able to. I'm able to calm down and just focus on a character and stay in the moment. When I'm acting. So I definitely attribute all that to the martial arts stuff. Sort of like any type of art. Like I know you do comics and stuff like that. So it's any type of art. You need that focus. You need to have that inner ability to see your own vision. So,
awesome, awesome, awesome. So I know I'm asking like you know integrated questions, but I like to do that. I like to switch them up just to catch you off guard to see how well you answer them. You know what I mean?
okay.
It's all in fun, all in fun that I do that. But you know, how many have you ever fought somebody? Used your martial arts techniques on people before, like in a real fight?
Uh, Unfortunately, I'm gonna have to answer. Yeah, plenty of times, plenty of times because it's weird because after being bullied and taking the martial arts stuff, I kind of you know with being small in stature, I would get picked on a lot. So I always have to prove myself. Whereas if somebody's bigger and stronger and just looks the part, people don't want to mess with them. They don't want they don't want to step to them. But so yeah, using the martial arts was like, especially in my younger years, was quite frequent. You know, and but martial arts and street fighting, man, they're two different animals, and that's pretty much why a lot of martial art people don't like me because martial arts is like the entertainment part of the fighting, where street fighting is everything goes, man. There's no hold back. There's nobody's gonna stop the fight unless they want to stop the fight. So people get the whole thing mixed up with street fighting and martial arts, and that absolutely drives me crazy because you could be a really good martial artist and get your ass kicked in a street fight. I've seen it happen plenty of times, but so I'm proud to know that my stuff works in the street.
Right, 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 right. So, wow. All right. Let me go back to the book of the questions. You know what I mean?
I'm good that you
How do
have.
you stay? Huh?
I said, I'm glad you have that book.
How do you stay focused and motivated?
How do I stay focused and motivated? That's a good question. I stay focused because I haven't accomplished what I wanted to accomplish. So I know that you have to keep my eye on the prize. And motivation is hard sometimes because, you know, unless you're making box office films and you're making big bucks, you're working a regular job and you're focusing on your career. So you can't stay as focused as you want to stay on it. But you do the best you can do, man. Do the best you can do.
Very awesome. Very awesome. Very awesome. Like, how do you, stay, just at peace when you're around like when you're doing a movie that, like, you're playing a character that is outside of your personality and outside of who you are.
Mhm.
How do you handle those?
I find
Handle-
those are the most fun ones because I mean I'm a pretty plain dude, and so when I'm playing a vigilante, for example, in a film, that's probably one of my favorite characters to play. You get to really let out all of the things and probably some of the dream visions that you have in real life, and you get to bring that fantasy on the screen and make people um, sort of live that moment. So it's pretty cool because every character that I play is different from who I really am. I mean, you can't go around killing people and stuff like that. But and a lot of times justice doesn't prevail. So at least in the movies, at least in the action movies that I do, justice always prevails. So it's pretty cool to be able to do that. You know,
Basically, what you're saying is just like, you know, actually just like reading a comic book.
exactly,
Okay, okay. It's just like reading a comic book, and you have your character, you have your villains, and you have your heroes. And when you and like,
exactly.
yeah,
If anything, I
go
love,
ahead.
I love to play some more villain roles because that gives you kind of you get to play on both spectrums, both sides. So you get to feel what it feels like to play a deeper character of somebody who's not so good, somebody who's not nice, and somebody who's doesn't prevail. So I wouldn't mind playing some villains. So try that out.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. So, hmm, hmm, how do you handle criticism of your art?
Oh, I've been handling criticism since I developed my style of martial arts, and you know, I guess when I was younger, I was a lot more easy to fly off the handle, a lot more ready to fight. Now that as you grow older and you get more mellow and kind of been through kind of really. handle things a little differently. But right now, criticism, you just let it fly off your shoulder and you move on, and you kind of realize where it's coming from.
Awesome, awesome. Very true, very true. I like that answer. Sometimes it's hard to handle criticism when it's done in a rude manner by some people. You know.
Well, look, everybody's always going to criticize everybody because peop most of the time when people do criticize, unless it's constructive, they're criticizing the fact because they didn't accomplish anything with themselves. So usually they're focused on bringing the other person down, tearing the other person down, so they could have a little bit of feeling. I guess you could say they could feel a little bit better about themselves. But for the most part, criticism, again, like criticism from like an acting coach or criticism from like a coach if you're, in anything you're doing is one thing, but criticism from somebody who's never really been where you are or been in your shoes, it's like, why even get upset from it? Why even let it bother you?
True. Very true. Very true. Very true. You know. Very true. So, what is the most rewarding aspect of your art?
Most rewarding. Actually, the most rewarding part about actually everything I do is when I actually make somebody else a sensei or a black belt. That's probably the most rewarding part of running my system of martial arts. Because again, passing the torch from one person to the next person, and knowing that eventually that's gonna keep growing and continuing. The legacy is gonna keep living on once I'm gone. I'm not getting any younger.
Hell yeah. Yeah, I feel you. What has been your most memorable experience, whether it is acting or martial arts, being a martial arts instructor?
Oh, I have plenty, but I guess performing in Madison Square Garden was one of them, and performing in Shea Stadium was another. I like bringing the martial arts to the public. Back in those days when I did it in '90s, early '90s, martial arts, of course, was still popular. I mean, but we didn't see really anybody bringing it to the general public. Some of the movie people that were doing movies like Van Damme at the time and Seagal. We didn't really um, have just martial art people doing demonstrations and performing and making the art grow. So that would probably be my most memorable thing is being in Shea Stadium in front of 20,000 people and putting on just a regular martial art demonstration and just showing through authentic um, techniques um, and not just movie stuff, not just fancy stuff, showing the real art of it. So that would probably be my best. And then as far as my film would be completing my first indie film, and when it got sold overseas and distributed was um, really really proud moment.
Okay. What was your biggest challenge you have faced in acting?
In acting, um, getting typecast. That's probably the worst part. Just playing the usual fighter or you know somebody of that nature, and not getting a chance to try different roles, like whether it's comedic roles or whether it's just different genres too. You know, like I'm happy now with doing some horror movies, so I'm changing up in genres instead of doing action movies and martial art movies. We're gonna start doing some horror movies and some other different genres. So that's probably the worst part about it, just being typecast.
How do you handle conflict?
I only heard how do you handle conflict part. I could take that either. I didn't hear the whole thing.
How do you handle conflict?
Just conflict in general, or physical conflict, or
Just conflict in general.
well, like I said earlier in my life, I was kind of hot headed, and it would be a whole different thing. But now it's just you take it for where it comes from, and you just kind of let it roll off. Unless somebody's going to hurt your family, or somebody's going to threaten you physically, or punch you, or hit you, do something that's going to be provide you with imminent danger. You just kind of let it roll off. So that's the best way to handle conflict. And if not, you just choke them out.
Hey, choking them out. Miles to choke them out, motherfucker. All right.
right?
you
Let me see.
know, what is the most valuable advice you have ever gotten? Whether it
Almost
is,
almost every advice I've gotten. If I would have listened to the advice I've gotten from my parents, I would have probably been an accountant in a stuffy office somewhere, or So I'm not big on advice. Um, the advice that I usually seek is somebody who's either been there and done that. So, like if I seek advice from somebody like who's more established in anything that I do, and they're giving me their like sort of tips, that's kind of advice. But as far as advice that I've gotten over, yeah, I don't really foresee any advice that I've gotten that was substantial that helped grow. All of the advice that I got was kind of negative and stuff like that. So
awesome, awesome, awesome. So, what are some of the most prevalent? What are some of the some of those roles? What are some of the roles that you would love to play that you have not gotten to play yet?
I want to play. I love to play some sort of a killer in a horror movie. Because again, it's if you're an actor, you want to play the opposite of what you are. So being a good guy, playing a good guy, being all day long, every day long, it would be nice to go outside the comfort zone and try to see how I could embrace that type of role. So I wouldn't mind, you know, hacking up some people a little bit.
A little bit, right?
Yep.
A little bit. Okay, okay. You know, how do you keep from uh from messing up your lines? How do you prepare? What are your rituals to
I
prepare your lines?
gotcha. I overwork, so I'm as soon as I get the script, I'm trying to memorize the lines because the memory is not as good as it once was. But and then once you get the lines out of the way, then you kind of work on the movement, the body movement, and the feeling of it, and so the memorization is the to me is the hardest part. So but once you get that out of the way, then you just do some readings and you keep then you start to focus on the emotional part of it or what you're thinking or the backstory and stuff like that. But getting through the lines is the first part.
Hmm, awesome, awesome.
I don't know orthodox methods of preparing, but except for maybe talking to the cell phone, maybe recording the lines over and over again. That's about it.
Yeah, I feel you. I do that too. I do that too. How do you, how are you able to be quick off your feet and be able to get your lines down and get the script down before the movie within a day? Or say like you have a movie, a script, you got this. Like you have a movie with like within 2 days, and you got the script like 2 days before the movie. How would you handle that?
Well, a shitload of coffee first of all, and then I'd be up memorizing those damn lines all night. But and then sometimes, depending on the director too, sometimes a certain directors give you a little latitude, so you could just improvise a lot, as long as you have a basis of what the scene is about, and you're not talking about something that has nothing to do with the scene. So sometimes some directors will let you, improvise. So others are just, you have to read my lines word for word, or you suck, and that's it. But you know, um, yeah, I would be up all night rehearsing those lines and memorizing those lines, and then try to get them down. So,
Awesome, very awesome, very awesome. So you know, what is the most funniest moments on set that you have been a part
well,
of?
I wouldn't know if it was the funniest, but it was pretty interesting. So we're shooting Justified Vengeance about 3 years ago, and I didn't even know there was an app called Citizens App. I don't know if that's just like a New York thing or if it's a worldwide thing. But so we're shooting a scene, and the camera dude was so wrapped up in the storyline. He's like, "Dude, we just got to get a picture of you walking down the street with the gun in your hand." And me, of course, being in the moment, not thinking about it, and saying, "Yeah, why not? Let's go for it." We had no permits at that point for where we were shooting, so we go outside, and he sets me back, and I got the gun in my hand, and I'm walking down the street with the gun in my hand, and these two ladies start screaming and yelling, "The cops are coming! The cops have been called!" And I had no idea how they even knew that or whatnot. And sure enough, I took the gun and I we hid the gun because the cops would come. We had no permit or nothing like that. And sure enough, 2 minutes later, about 8 cop cars surround us and pointing their guns on us. And we're like, "Whoa, we're just we're just shooting a movie." And so we were scared shitless because we thought we were gonna get shot and we had no permits. But it went viral. By the way, it went viral on Citizens app, so everybody knew about it. But I would so I wouldn't say it was actually a funny part, funny part, but it was interesting. I'll tell you, to say the least, it was pretty interesting.
Wow. So basically, you know what I'm saying, you was just a couple inches from a bullet.
Well, bullet, exactly. Just lonely taped it, lonely filmed it properly. We could have used it for the movie anyway. But I'm always down for taking one for the team. But yeah, no. So we learned lesson learned. No more shooting with guns in the street without permits.
Yeah. So like, you know, who are some of the most prominent people that has been in your life that taught you the knowledge, that giving you the knowledge that you have today when it comes to acting?
When it comes to acting, could have answered that easy with martial arts. When it comes to acting, well, I mean, I don't know. If I haven't necessarily met them, but I have a lot of inspirations, a lot of role models that that I watched growing up, like Al Pacino and guys like that. But unfortunately, none of them ever really. I don't know them personally, so I haven't really gotten any advice from those guys. But so yeah, the entertainment stuff is basically I'm kind of self-made, so that's all on me. So there's been no guidance to that. When it came to martial arts, it was Aaron Banks who guided me to what I did in martial arts, but not in the film industry.
Awesome, very awesome. You know, oh, how do you handle, man? How do you handle being having to, grasp the script at a short amount of time? How do you be able to, memorize all those lines and all those words within like while trying be able to like in front of people? How do you react in front of people?
Well, I've been teaching my whole life, so I've been in front of people my whole life. So as far as the acting goes, it was just another step up. But in the beginning, it's nerve wracking, especially when you flip your lines and stuff like that. Everybody's looking at you and stuff like that. So you just kind of focus away from that. You stay in character and you try to do the best you can. And if a lot of times if I'm gonna flub a line, I'll just keep going with it and say something else and just improvise. So that helps a lot. And sometimes the director will just use it, and sometimes they won't. They'll just say cut and do it over again. And but you need to have thick skin, otherwise, you can't really be an actor to begin with.
Very, very true, very true. Oh man, this has been a cool interview. You're very very knowledgeable and very very on it. You're very on it. You know what I'm saying? And that's very cool, very cool. So, what are some of your favorite movies? Top five.
That's a good question. That's a good question. I like it's so funny because when people ask me questions like that, they expect me to say Enter the Dragon and Kickboxer and all those types of movies, which of course, I love those movies, but I'm more of into like drama movies. Like I'd rather watch a movie like Trading Day or a movie like Great Expectations or Bronx Tale faster than I watch a movie like Enter the Dragon or anything like that. So top five movies. Yeah, Bronx Tale would be one, and Rocky would be another movie. What else? Scarface, uh, Carlito's Way, and Goodfellas. So those are probably my top five.
Oh, okay, okay, okay. Carlitos Way. That's a old movie. Very old.
Yeah, most of them are old movies. I'm old, man.
Hey, you ain't old. You just getting better, brother. Brother.
I
You
wish
know
that
what I mean?
I would tell that to my niece, but I wish that was true.
uh, Hey, knees, need your knees, and they're gonna be fine.
I hope so.
They'll be fine.
I'll need a stunt double for my own martial art movie. That would be funny.
Yeah, yeah, I feel you, man. I feel you. So, you know, how do you stay uplifted when you don't get the roles that you want?
That's a good question. That happens a lot. It's part of the business, the disappointment. Again, working out martial art wise helps. See, like I don't know if you can see, but we're in my personal home dojo, and there's a lot of punching bags. So when you don't get the role, you just beat the crap out of the punching bag, and pretend like it's the casting director or the director, and you feel better about yourself in a few minutes. But what are you gonna do? That's what you do. Training, working out helps me kind of like relieve the stress.
Very true, very true, very true. So, what do you think is very? Do you think um martial arts is different over in foreign countries?
Absolutely.
Do you think
Abs-
you think it's the same? You know,
no, it's absolutely completely different. I think a lot of things are completely different in different countries, but I won't even go there. But we'll stick with the martial arts part. But I think martial arts over here is kind of we're not only watered down, but it's kind of like what we call them a dojo. It's kind of like very soft, like I noticed it years ago when we used to have like students from Russia come over to my school, and they would be training, and they would train with the American students, which were us, and we'd be inferior as far as like mindset. Their mindset was amazing. They were tougher, and they were willing to take more pain, willing to go the distance. And I think we're kind of in our country, we're fortunate because we have a lot of things that other countries don't have, but I think it makes us weak. So I think I feel that it's a lot weaker because we're not hungry. We're not as hungry as other countries are.
right, 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 right. I feel you. I feel you. I feel you, man. I feel you. I feel you. So, who are some of the coolest people that you've met in whether it's with the martial arts part?
Well, I want between the martial arts and the movie business, I must have met like tons of celebrities. But the coolest one that I ever met was weird because going back into the '90s, and we were doing a film called Final Conflict, and um, I wanted to get Reverend Run from Run DMC into my film, into my movie, and a friend of a friend knew him. So one thing leads to another on a conversation, and I end up in Hollis, Queens. He was living in Queens at the time, in his living room. And here I am talking to one of my idols because I loved Run DMC back in the day. That was my group growing up. And here I am, sort of like in a daze, just staring at the gold records and the awards on the thing. And I had brought some of my materials, my martial art materials, because we would do something together. And he wanted to see it, and he was more intrigued with what I accomplished and I was more intrigued with what he accomplished. And it was just an amazing conversation because he was like the most down to earth dude you ever wanted to meet. And till this day, out of all the celebrities I worked with, or acted with, or hired, he probably definitely the best out of all. And Joseph Simmons was definitely the best. And I could tell you some of the worst, but probably not a good idea because
Yeah, you gotta. We can talk about that after the show. How
yeah,
about
yeah, that's right. We'll keep that off.
that? We don't want to step on nobody's toes, do we?
Sometimes it's fun, but depends. The
hey,
person I was with,
hey,
I
hey!
might not like it very much. So, but anyway,
I don't want you to get blackballed, my man. No, no, don't want you to do
that's
that.
right.
But you know, what is the most important lesson you've learned as an actor?
As an actor, most important lesson: stay true to your character. You know, um, as long as you know that what your character stands for, and you have this whole thing, you stay true to your character. And if You stay true to what you think that your character will do or might do, and that you can't really go wrong when you're playing a role. And a lot of that should be like a lesson in life too. Like um, having good character and sticking with good character is important. So I just that's definitely um, something that's important.
Very true. Very true. So if there was any place you would rather go to shoot a movie, what is that place?
Interesting, interesting,
You said what?
interesting, interesting, interesting. Anywhere where it's warmer than here, because it's funny because when I make my movies, most of the time we end up making them in the fall or like on off seasons when I'm not as busy teaching and stuff like that. So I wouldn't mind just shooting somewhere like in the Caribbean or somewhere where it's nice and warm and give a different environment as opposed to just like the urban shooting in Brooklyn all the time or shooting in Staten Island, and give it a whole different environment. So I wouldn't mind doing that. I wouldn't mind shooting somewhere definitely where it's a lot warmer and with a lot more beautiful scenery.
True, 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 true. Sorry, scratching my neck. Um, yeah, so cool. Very, very true, very true. You know, give me five actors that you would love to work with. That five movies that you would love to play in that are already out.
That are already out. Wow. Okay. Five actors that I love to play with. Al Pacino would be number one. Um, yeah, Al Pacino would be number one. I wouldn't mind playing. Yeah, I wouldn't mind playing opposite Stallone or with Stallone, or even as an extra in a Stallone movie, just to be with Sylvester Stallone or Denzel Washington. Definitely. Um, yeah, those would be my actors. And as far as movies, that's interesting. What movies that have been out? I don't know about anything current, man, but I would have loved to play in the Karate Kid back in the day, and maybe even the Cobra Kai stuff. Yeah, as far as out right now, even playing Wolverine would be pretty cool.
Very awesome, very awesome. You know, so are you a comic head?
Am I a comic kid?
Yeah, are you a comic head? What I mean by that is like, are you into comic books?
Back low, growing up, I was into Wolverine and X-Men definitely, and the Batman. As far as like nowadays, the Marvel films, I'm not a fan of most of them. I love some of them. Like I love all the Batman movies specifically. But so to answer your question, yeah, I would say I have an appreciation for how's that? I have appreciation.
Hmm,
Yeah, I was
hmm.
looking at your stuff online, man. It was very, very, very interesting stuff, man. You're very talented.
Well, thank you. It takes a team to put something like that together. So, regards to the Brick and Change team, creative team.
Nice.
Y'all know who y'all are. Don't need to say. I have to say your names. um, I'm very, very, very cool. So, okay, if there was anybody who could, who you would want to act with, who would it be that you already know?
Did I know personally, or did I just know of?
That you know
I
personally.
know personally. Wow. So I'm my man Dave Paul. Me and him are gonna act together in this movie.
Okay, okay, David. Okay, okay, okay. You know, what about David Paul that that made you want to? What about him that made you want to act with him?
I like his spirit, man. He's hustling. I like people that hustle. You know, um, most of the people nowadays just want to sit back and relax and wait for everything to come to them. So I like people like that. That's who I am, a go getter. Like we don't sit around and wait for a movie to happen, um, or wait for an audition. We just create the roles that we want to play, and we go out and we make our own projects. And independence. Like you're doing right now with your show. I love it. That's great that you get to just get your message out there on your standards, the way you want, and you have the really coolest name of a show, man. So I love that in your face. That's kind of you don't get more like in your face than that.
Well, thank you. This show is it's a very catchy show. Let's just say that it's a very catchy and very true show. I I wouldn't be where I am without it. And God, let's just say that too.
There you go, amen. I, you know,
So, how did how did your martial arts and you being a martial artist translate over to being an actor? Well, how was
transition.
the transition? Yeah,
Well, the only reason why became an actor who got into acting was because of the martial art. I was doing a demonstration, and it was on one of the TV stations, the news stations, and a manager had seen it, and he was like, called me up, and I first thought he was pranking me. Back in the day, I was like, he's like, "Do you want to be in films and movies and be like Bruce Lee?" And so I hung up on him a couple of times, and then he called me back, and then he said, "You got some talent with the kicks and the punches. We should bring that to the big screen." And the rest was history. So if it wasn't for the martial arts, I wouldn't even be thinking about acting, or there wouldn't even been a thing. So it helped transition me really well because it gave me the confidence to do it, and it gave me the opportunity to do it because they saw my talent somewhere else and said, "Let's bring that on to the big screen." So I'm blessed. God is good.
that's right. That's right. Hold on. Yeah. So yeah. So basically, what truly inspires you to keep going every day?
Well, because if you stay humble and you kind of if you have this goal and you stay humble and you know that you haven't achieved it and there's always more to achieve, you stay focused and you keep going. The moment you think that you've accomplished everything you need to accomplish and you get egotistical and arrogant, that's when everything stops and that's when you start progressing, you start making strives and stuff like that. So I believe you gotta stay humble, and if you stay humble, you'll stay motivated, you'll stay inspired, and you keep doing what you want to do, So, and I have faith in God. So He told me I'm going to be a star one day. So I'm still waiting.
Hey, take it and run with it. you know. So being you're a father. Oh, okay. So being a father, how does that make your acting career even better, or does it like slow it down a little bit?
It doesn't slow it down at all. It actually it inspires me because I want to be successful for my kids, and my grandkids. I'm also a grandfather, and so it doesn't slow me down one bit as far as maybe it takes a little bit of time away from them sometimes. When I have to go shoot something, or especially when my wife and I are doing a project because it's usually the two of us. It could definitely put a damper on the kids as far as like hanging out with them and but we're a pretty close family, so when we're not working, we're always together and stuff like that. So it kind of balances out. But yeah, kids definitely inspire you, because you want to do what you can do to the best of your ability to show them, and so that hopefully they'll take a lesson from what you did, and and maybe they'll get inspired.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So I'm gonna ask you a question predicated on martial arts. How so? You know, have you ever taught people how to, you know, martial arts like in the acting scene?
Oh, you mean as far as train them?
Yeah.
Usually, with whoever's in my movies, even if they have training, they'll come and I'll train them. But as far as like celebrities, um, nobody can comment on the moment because they go, sometimes when you train celebrities, they don't want you to tell them that they're training, but nobody really at the moment that I could, could mention. But every time I do a movie, I'm always the one training everybody in the fight scenes and choreographing. Even if it's not my movie, even if I'm on somebody else's movie, I'm always the one that's, can you make that fight scene better, or can you show that, teach that actor how to do this or something like that. So, the martial art makes me blessed to have that ability to do that.
Wow, wow, wow. Do it help you get more intricate roles because you're a martial arts
But
instructor, or does it like
it's
do it help you?
It's
Okay,
the opposite. It's the opposite. People don't realize that, just because you can kick and punch, and you see there's action movies where they only have like one or two lines, and the movies that they think that you can't act because you're, fall into that criteria. So, um, when we make my own films and we write our scripts, like, we kind of make them really um, story driven, and not just like one line and you beat somebody up. So I believe in that. So again, like, to answer the question, it makes it worse because people don't really expect you to do much acting anyway. They just expect you to kick and punch. So it kind of backfires on
so what is the most gratifying part of being a actor?
you. Watching your work, watching people appreciate your work. you know, like when the movie's actually done and you're sitting there, like when we had a screening for Bound by Dead, it was pretty cool because we had it at a club in the city, and it was really cool. Not so much just to watch yourself on the screen because that's kind of pompous and arrogant, but just to watch the people's reactions to go, oh, they were enjoying it, that you gave them some entertainment, you took them out of their everyday life where they're struggling or fighting with somebody or fighting with themselves, or whatever's going on in their life, and you for that hour and a half, 2 hours, you took them away from that and they got to actually just enjoy some fun. So that's pretty cool. You know, it's also not so cool when you're watching them and they're like, "Oh, the movie sucks." So it could go either way.
Very true, very true. What are some of the most harshest criticism you ever gotten?
Oh, that's where do we start? um, I wouldn't say it was the harshest criticism, but I've gotten a few times. People, would tell me that maybe should just stick to the martial arts, or different things of that nature. You know, um, you have to have thick skin, like I said earlier. Um, in this industry, people, not everybody's gonna like you, not everybody's gonna even like you what you're doing, and everything in the movie business is subjective. So, like, me and you could be in a movie theater, we could watch a movie, and I'd be like, "Oh man, that was the greatest thing I ever seen." And you'd be like, "That sucked," and you'd be like, "We're watching the exact same movie, but we have two different perspectives." And so, you know, again, I don't let harsh criticism bother me. The thing that will get me the most is if somebody if somebody's reviewing the movie, maybe like a bad review from an actual reviewer, that would probably bother me a little bit more than just somebody saying, "Oh, that movie sucked." So you got to be able to handle criticism.
Very true, very true, very true. Hmm. What is the hardest thing you ever had to do on set that was just like, man, damn, you know?
It's a good one. A couple of things. One of the movies we actually planned out with, and one of the movies that I was in, one of the women got raped in the film, and it was kind of hard watching and helping
Uh,
them like that, kind of direct and put it together, because I mean, no one really, that's a horrible situation, even though it's a movie, and you want to make it as real as possible. Um, so that's one of the worst things. I guess this. Um, Second thing would be when I actually had to shoot my daughter in a film, but I won't talk about that. She was like 12, 11 at the time, and the character, she had to get shot in the film, and so that watching that was not really too pleasing, on that. But it's just an acting, so it's
fair.
not real.
Hmm. Hmm. Wow. So, you know, you being a person of integrity and coolness, have you ever cried on set?
Oh yeah, oh yeah. Especially every time I see the financials of the movie, I know. All kidding aside, no, yeah, a couple of scenes, a couple of scenes, we try to make the character have some vulnerability. So, um, yeah, the one in Bell by Dead, there was a scene in there where my father was dying of cancer in that actual movie, and then my father in real life died of cancer. So that was kind of a hard scene to pull off. So making crying in that scene was pretty, unfortunately, pretty easy because you just had to think about actual events that happened in your life. So most of my
Was
character don't
there
cry
ever
all the time. Most of the time he's kicking ass and beating shit at people.
true? So was there ever time where you like you just couldn't do it? You just like, man, look, I can't do this. I can't do this scene.
Oh yeah, there was a couple of times, actually a couple of roles that I was didn't take because I didn't like the way certain things were going down. So yeah, plenty of times. Like I won't do any movie that would degrade God or any of my religion. I won't do anything like that. I won't play a rapist. Like there are certain things you won't do because you want to uphold an image that you have. Especially besides being an actor, I'm also a martial arts instructor to hundreds of thousands of kids. So whatever they watch on TV and see me do and portray, it's kind of like they don't sometimes separate the reality and the movie. So you don't want them to think that that you're a good person. You want to kind of be a good role model for them. So
Very true. Very true. You don't want to play a certain character and then people, because you know how people get. They'll remember the character that you played and won't let you forget
oh
about it.
yeah, oh yeah, yeah. That's right. That's right.
Yeah, I understand. I truly much understand this. And then you get judged from a character that you played, and they think that you're the really, really like that type of, really like that. Yeah, I truly much understand. So, was there, what are some of the most controversial things that really happened in your acting career?
Controversial stuff. Well, I guess that when I don't want to give away the plot line, but the movie Justified Vengeance has pretty much got a very controversial storyline. So that's to be determined. So nothing controversial as at the moment, but that's going to be a pretty controversial film because of the theme and what was behind it. But other than that, nothing really. No, nothing. I try to keep it clean and keep it not really controversial at the moment.
Very true, very true, very true. Wow, man, it's been a great show. It's been a great show. Been a great interview show, man. So you know, how many years, do you see yourself within the next 5 years? You see yourself, where do you see yourself in 5 years with the acting
Um, I'm
career?
hopefully to have at least 2, 3 more films out there, and hopefully hit one in the theaters. To go hit a home run. But that's where I would love to see myself in 5 years. And you know, as far as martial art wise, hopefully I could like retire a little bit and let some of the black belts take over. That would be a nice goal. But as of right now, I'm still going strong and still got some goals to accomplish. So can't lay down yet.
I feel you, man. So, have you ever thought about retiring as a martial arts instructor, or do you feel like you still go? You got more in the tank?
Um, sometimes it's overwhelming. I teach hundreds of thousands of students, and sometimes it gets overwhelming after all that time. So yes, I would like to not know so much retire, but teach selectively. Teach a group of students that really want to do it, and more advanced level students than teaching just everybody. But overall, it's my passion, and that's what I do. And that's what I was put on this earth to do, to spread the martial arts to the world. So gotta do what you gotta do.
Have you ever felt that? Doing teach. Have you ever taught somebody and they basically wasted time?
Oh, plenty of times, unfortunately. Plenty of times. I mean, people just not as serious as they think they are. So there's plenty of times when you get students that are just coming in, and but there are also times when you get the student who you really thought you were going to waste your time with, and they end up becoming successful people like doctors and um, teachers and lawyers and stuff like that. So sometimes the child that comes in who's jumping all around and you can't wait for him to leave, or you hope that he doesn't come back to the school the next day. He or she is the one that you're proud of one thing. You go, wow, I remember when you were like that, but now look at you, you're a successful adult. That makes it all worthwhile.
Right. True that, true that. So, you know, wow. You know, yeah, I felt, very emotional and very just felt stressed. Have you ever felt stressed while on set?
All the time because when we're on our set, in particular my films, we're doing multitude of things. We're just acting, so we're producing and directing. But yeah, there are plenty of times you feel stressed. It's a stressful business. It's just there's money, you're spending money making the film, and you're spending money on the set. And if you're not performing, if people are not performing the way they're supposed to be performing, you lose money. So it's stress is evident no matter what you do. So
Okay, so is this a career that you will allow your children to come into, or would you tell them to stay away from it because it's not like the type
no way,
of,
no way.
you know,
Yeah, no, my kids. I don't think. I wouldn't suggest anybody getting into the film business. Unless you're real serious about it older. I think that when you put children in stuff like this early on, it kind of messes with their growth because they don't really have a childhood because they're busy on set and two, they're interacting with adults when you know what happens when a lot of movie sets when you're interacting with adults, and sometimes parents are not able to be on the set with a child actor, believe it or not, all the time because of certain things, and things happen. So just to long story short, I would never let my kids be in the film industry, especially as children.
right? Very true. Like I really feel that a lot of people make their children like a lot of mothers and fathers make their children live out their dreams
Yes, yes,
rather than allow the children live out their own dreams.
yeah, that happens in sports too. I noticed that a lot, in, like in football, basketball, and there's a lot of fathers that are pushing hard on their child. Even in the karate school, that she wants to train in martial arts, but they can't come because they're doing other sports, and dad's making them, really on top of them because dad wanted to be, I guess, playing for the Giants or the Jets, and he didn't make it, so he's kind of taking it all out and pushing on his child and stuff like that. And so it happens a lot in sports. It definitely happens in the entertainment industry as well. And I guess it is what it is.
I surely much understand, man. Being an actor, right? Do you get remembered for your roles? Like, do people come up to you and say, "Oh, you're that guy from this movie"?
Unfortunately, not yet, but we're hoping soon. Hoping when we have our hit movie, that'll happen. But I get more known for my martial arts and stuff like that. So than for acting at the moment. But we'll see. We'll see what happens on the next film. How's that?
Hey, man, anytime you want to come back, is always a time. You can come back at any time. So I give you 60 seconds to let everybody know how they can find you, how they can catch you, where they can find you, where they can get taught martial arts.
Gotcha.
Let them all know. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, you could reach me on my website if you want martial arts training at momandomartialarts.com, and all my social media handles, Paul Momando or Mr. Karate USA. You could find me on Facebook, Paul Momando, on Instagram at Mr. Karate USA. or just Google me, and don't believe everything you read when you Google me.
Don't believe it.
No,
Don't believe everything. But nah, yeah, this has been a good show, man. I'm
well,
really, really thank you for coming on the show.
thanks for having me, and I really appreciate it.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. This has been a well. Thank y'all for watching. All three of y'all. If y'all could do me a favor and like and share, like and subscribe to the channel, to the YouTube channel. It's right there on the thing, or you can come to my or you can come to my inbox and I send you the link to subscribe to the channel because we need subscribers. We're looking for subscribers, and we looking to maybe building the channel, and we're looking to grow together. And thank y'all for watching. It's been well. It's been the 170th episode. On our way to 200 episodes. We coming for you, damn it. We coming. And this is the In Your Face show. And we out. Peace.